Welcome to the Nerd National Communications Center. It's Friday, July 24th, 2020, and this is the EV News. For those of you not aware, that's electric vehicle news. Got some major things this week. CHAdeMo goes bye-bye. Tesla likes Texas and profits. And Tesla sues Rivian. So, let's take a look at this news. First up for the EV news for July 24th, 2020, here at Nerd Central. Nissan has announced their next generation of electric vehicle. It's not going to hit the United States until 2020. It promises to go 300 miles, which most electric vehicles right now are doing 225 to 250 miles. I think 300 miles is going to be the holy grail for electric car range. That's going to be a good range with good charging. You're still looking at $40,000 before a tax credit. So there's still a premium to be paid for this vehicle. Those costs should come down as everybody's been making batteries cheaper. But let's look at some of the highlights as this replacement for the Nissan Leaf. It's got a beefier engine, so it'll have at least 200 horsepower, maybe more, so it'll have better performance, 0 to 60 time around 60 seconds. You should still be able to get the $7,500 tax credit. And it's going to be entering a field competing against the electric crossovers such as the Model Y, the Volkswagen ID4. Remember, Chevrolet is going to be coming out with a plethora of new electric vehicles in the next couple years, and the Ford Mustang Mach-E, which is a crossover electric Mustang, which looks very promising. So the big thing about this is, yes, Nissan is finally liquid cooling their batteries. The problem with the Nissan Leaf is it's air cooled, and heat shortens the life of lithium batteries, period. And you always, like, I'm in some Facebook forums on the Nissan Leaf because I used to own a Nissan Leaf. I now own a Chevrolet Bolt, which I've had for about 2.5 years. Just love it. But the Leafs don't have that active cooling of the battery, so there is so much discussion on those forums and those group pages about battery degradation. The Nissan Leafs will display how many bars the battery has left out of a 12, and if you lose X number of battery bars within a certain mileage or a certain number of years, Nissan will replace the battery. It's a mess. I got to tell you, on the Chevrolet Bolt forums and Facebook pages I'm on, there's just really zero discussion about battery degradation. It's just not an issue. There's a guy I follow on YouTube, and he has over 100,000 miles on his Bolt now, and his battery might be about 5% down from when he bought it. So that is just fantastic. So Nissan going to liquid cool is a big deal, and they should have done this years ago, but they couldn't do it probably until they completely redesigned the vehicle. The other big thing is they are dumping CHAdeMo, which is the charging standard. It's the connector that you plug in to charge your car for fast charging. And CHAdeMo is all over Japan, but in the United States, CHAdeMo is, if you go to an electric car station like Electrify America, they'll have 8 CCS combo chargers and 1 CHAdeMo. So you basically had 3 different standards for charging connectors. You have Tesla, you have CHAdeMo, Here, I jumped over to PlugShare. So for fast charging, you basically have Tesla superchargers, CCS, SAE. This is the AC charging plug with the DC fast charge plugs on the bottom, and then you have CHAdeMo. So CHAdeMo is going to go away, and then there will be two standards. Now, if we could only get Tesla and the rest of the EV industry onto the same standard, it would sure be nice, because it'd be kind of like you could only put gas in your car at half the gas stations in the nation, and you had to make sure they had the right kind of pumps for you. So this is that's one of the big deals. Active cooling, dumping CHAdeMo. All the newer generation electric cars are moving to faster DC fast charging rates. Like, one of the knocks on my Chevrolet Bolt is it's limited to about 55 kilowatt league for fast charging, which means I can get about, in the right circumstances, if my battery's down to about 20%, in 30 minutes of charging, I can add 90 miles range. So 150 kilowatt league charger, if you could charge at that rate, you would be charging 3 times as fast, so you would be adding 270 miles of range in 30 minutes. So you could almost completely recharge your battery in the time it takes to eat lunch if you're on a trip. So looking at all cars charging at 100 or higher for the fast charge rate, for the DC fast charge, and Nissan is certainly going the right direction, dumping CHAdeMo. So just to follow up on that, over at Inside EVs, Nissan, here's an article on Nissan transitioning to CCS for the US and Europe. So CHAdeMo, it's going to be a fatal blow. It's going to fade away. Next up, an article over at Ars Technica about Tesla actually making a profit in the second quarter of 2020. With COVID, a lot of people were thinking they would not be able to sell enough cars, they would not make a profit, that they made a very small $100 million profit. But a profit is a profit, and they're hoping to deliver 500,000 cars this year. And that's going to be an uphill struggle. But their Chinese factory is online. The German factory is not online yet. It is being built. I think it's probably about a year away. So Tesla is doing well. However, if you look at the past 12 months of profits, they still have not offset the $408 million they lost in the second quarter of 2019. They got plenty of cash flow, and they have plenty of money. They're not in trouble or anything, but it's good to see them making a profit while they're still expanding and building factories and launching new vehicles. The Cybertruck is upcoming. They're going to build Model Ys and I assume Model 3s in Europe. The Chinese factory is going to expand. They're redoing their Fremont, California factory so they can do new versions of the Model S and X. And it looks like Tesla has learned, or has pretty well learned, how to build cars. Now, the sad thing is they had to learn how to do this because when they launched the Model 3, they were not very good at building cars. And they learned this on their own, although I'm not quite sure they couldn't have just brought in some industry experts to help them, but that doesn't seem to be Elon Musk's way of doing things. But this is good news to see Tesla make money selling electric cars in a very tough economic time. Which leads to my next article about Tesla picking Texas, Austin, to build a new factory to build the Cybertruck. So this is a big win for Texas. Elon Musk likes Texas. He's got SpaceX in Texas. He is talking about moving his headquarters out of California and possibly moving his factory out of California because they are not business friendly. So California may be cutting off its nose to spite its face with the way it's treating industry. So Tesla's stock has gone up a huge amount. I think it's overpriced. They're learning how to build cars more efficiently. They're redesigning their cars so they're built better. Supposedly in September, Tesla's going to have a big battery day presentation that they've been working on new battery technology where they're changing the mix of the lithium batteries, moving away from cobalt, saying they're going to need more nickel. So it's going to be interesting here. But big win for Texas. I got to say I'm happy about it because I live in Texas. Last article I'm going to talk about today on EV News is Tesla is actually suing Rivian. They're going to be making an electric pickup truck. And they're suing them, accusing them of stealing secrets and poaching employees. So I'll let you read the article, but this most likely will result in some sort of settlement because as these employees move between tech companies, you've seen this before, you've seen these kind of lawsuits. Some of these guys are doing things. Rivian's got a lot of money and they're building a pretty mainstream pickup truck that's much more like a normal pickup truck versus what you would see with the Cybertruck. Just did a quick web search. So this is the proposed Rivian pickup truck, looks pretty normal. This is the Cybertruck. So the next truck, so this will be the competition space. We've also got the Ford has announced an electric pickup truck. Chevrolet, GM has already announced the electric Hummer. So it just looks like an Uber monster pickup truck, but looks pretty normal. So the next couple years is going to be interesting as far as the electric pickup truck space. Also, Tesla is working on their electric semi-truck, which now I think they have the battery production to actually start manufacturing their semi-truck, their electric semi-truck. So interesting times in the electric vehicle world the next couple years. All kinds of mainstream companies are going to be releasing their electric vehicles and they're going to be shifting their production. So we will follow it here at The Nerd. Hope you've enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe so you can catch the next electric vehicle news cast. Take care.